So obviously, I have the first injury and I sit out 4 games and then I come back and I play really well and I feel really good. And even just begin the year, I played great. I started the year really good. I felt really great. My numbers were great. I was shooting the ball well and then I get hurt and it's okay, got to get healthy, whatever you're I going to do whatever I can, to get back to what I was doing and whatever feel good. When the WNBA's most watched rookie sat across from a respected legend and dropped a line that echoed across the entire league, it didn't sound like frustration. It sounded like a shift. Caitlin Clark didn't just express dissatisfaction with officiating. She delivered a calculated, almost surgical critique that challenged the power structures in women's basketball. And it was no accident. She chose the time, the platform, and her words with intention. While media outlets spun into debate about whether her statement was fair or exaggerated, the more important question was being missed. Why now, and why like this? This wasn't emotion. It wasn't a rant after a tough game. This was strategy. A rookie who had spent weeks sidelined with injury, watching, studying, and absorbing every inconsistency around her, finally stepping into the spotlight with a statement she knew would resonate far beyond her fan base. The reaction was instant. Fans rallied, social platforms lit up, and the league was thrown into a quiet but very real state of reflection. But here's the most telling part. The WNBA didn't respond, not publicly. No clarifications, no pushback, just silence. And in that vacuum, Clark's voice didn't echo, it grew. To understand the magnitude of that one line, you have to understand the moment she entered. The league wasn't operating smoothly. It was already grappling with growing criticism about officiating, with multiple players and coaches penalized for saying what fans had been yelling at their screens for weeks. The commissioner's tone-deaf remark about winning teams, not complaining, only deepened the divide between the league's leadership and its players. Then enters Clark, not just another rookie, but the face of a new generation. The name driving attendance, boosting viewership, dominating headlines. And rather than rush back onto the court after injury, she took her time. From the sidelines, she studied the game in a way only a sidelined athlete can. Every game became a case study. Who got the whistles? When did they stop? What were the patterns? She had time and space to watch without bias, to observe without pressure, and to build a mental library of inconsistencies. So when she finally spoke, it wasn't heat of the moment, it was testimony, and the platform mattered. She didn't drop her opinion into a post-game scrum or random interview. She chose Hollywood Buzzing, the show hosted by a respected veteran whose word still carries weight across the sports and entertainment worlds. That wasn't chance. That was control. Her words would be heard by the core audience that mattered most. The players, the coaches, the media, and the fans who shaped the conversation. And then came the line, "I wouldn't miss a call." 6 words, delivered with calm certainty. A jab disguised as jest. But the impact was nuclear. Within minutes of the clip hitting social media, fans clipped it, captioned it, and sent it ricocheting across timelines. The phrase took off. It wasn't just a critique. It became a challenge to the system. Fans flooded comment sections with examples. Hashtags trended. Clips of questionable calls flooded feeds. Clark had unwittingly, or very wittingly, become the unofficial spokesperson for accountability. Behind the scenes, league executives scrambled. Some wanted to quietly pull her aside and remind her that league criticism should stay internal. Others recognized that silencing her would only validate her point and alienate the biggest marketing asset the WNBA currently has. The referees union, too, reportedly felt the heat. Some officials viewed the comment as a shot at their credibility, while others, off record, admitted she wasn't wrong. But still, the league said nothing. And that silence spoke volumes. In an age where public narrative shapes institutional decisions, Caitlin Clark's version of the truth became the only version. The longer the league stayed quiet, the more power shifted toward her corner. Sports shows debated her statement. Commentators dissected game footage with her comment in mind. The officiating conversation wasn't theoretical anymore. It had a face, a voice, and a growing movement behind it. And then came her return. Her first game back wasn't just a comeback, it was a stress test. Every bump, every drive, every missed whistle felt like a referendum on her statement. The crowd knew it, the media knew it, and most importantly, the referees knew it. Every call, or lack of one, was instantly magnified, debated, and replayed online. That's when it became clear. She wasn't just a player. She was a litmus test. Her presence changed how the game was called, how it was watched, and how it was discussed. And she knew it. Even her remarks about constant pressure, physical and otherwise, carried an undercurrent of bigger awareness. She wasn't just talking about herself. She was making a broader case for the treatment of stars, for consistency, for protection. By speaking out, she raised the bar. Now, any lapse in fairness wasn't just poor officiating. It was a missed opportunity for reform. And the ripple effects went deeper than social media. According to reports, internal discussions at the league level turned toward rule review and officiating standards. Nothing official was announced, but the whispers were there. Corporate sponsors reportedly began voicing concerns too, not about the comment, but about the environment. They understood that Clark's availability impacts viewership, ticket sales, and brand partnerships. Some insiders claim her name was brought up in closed-door meetings about player protection protocols. Why? Because if she's not playing, everyone loses. That growing awareness even reached fan theory territory. On platforms like Reddit and X, discussions intensified over whether Clark was being targeted, either to test her resolve or remove her from the spotlight. No hard evidence exists, but the perception alone has sparked debate over whether the league needs to adapt its officiating to match the increased physicality star players face. Some sources claim the league even floated changes mid-season, an incredibly rare move, all to prioritize safety. But doing so would essentially validate Clark's critique. And leadership knows that once you validate one player's public dissent, you set a precedent. You give others permission to do the same. Whether those rumored changes take place or not, the bigger story is this. The power dynamic has shifted. The league is no longer setting the narrative. Players, especially players with Clark's platform, are. When fans, media, sponsors, and broadcast partners start aligning behind a single voice, that's not an athlete speaking. That's a movement building. Clark's challenge wasn't just about officiating. It cracked open a door to larger conversations about fairness, about leadership, about the voice players should have in shaping the future of their league. And it might just be the spark that defines the WNBA's next era. For years, athletes were told to keep it quiet, file complaints internally, don't rock the boat. But today, a single comment can become a viral statement of intent. We've seen it in other sports, players demanding change, shifting culture with a tweet or a mic drop. The WNBA, thanks to Clark, may now be seeing the same shift. Not every player has her reach. Not every player has her shield. But every movement starts with someone bold enough to speak up first. And now that she has, the question isn't whether others will follow. It's how long the league can afford not to listen.